How you doing this afternoon?
All right, what's up, Doc?
Not too much. Today is Sunday evening, and it's August the 13th, 2017. And I'm out here in my backyard with a good friend of mine, and George Boston Ryan. And it's indeed a pleasure to have you out here with me this afternoon. And I got a couple of drawings out here. I'm an artist, and I got on my right here is the man with no plan, and then on my left is Dr. Martin Luther King, Ralph Abernathy, Jesse Jackson, and the musician that at the Lorraine Hotel where he was assassinated. And I just want to talk a little bit about my artwork. I'm an artist. I love art, and it defines really who I am, and it gives me a relief. I got diagnosed with malignant terminal cancer, esophageal, in fact. I was given 2 to 6 months to live, and they removed my stomach and my pancreas, and I take shots every month to be able to sustain myself. My art frees up my mind, and I take my time. When I first got diagnosed with cancer, this is how I felt. With a man with no plan. And I weighed 103 pounds, and I felt this way on just in front of him is a glass wall. And just by his front feet, there's a paintbrush on the ground. And behind him, there's another glass wall. And it looked like I just took and just started slinging paint because I was disgusted. I was down and out. I weighed 220 pounds, 215 to 220, but my weight was ranging. And I got down to 103. I lost all my teeth. I got a plate in now, and my teeth just came out by the root. And there was times when I could be eating and I feel something in my bread that my wife was cooking. I tell her that something is in the bread, and she said nothing in my bread, and I couldn't find one of my teeth. I didn't experience any pain with this, and because it killed my teeth at the root. And I'd take my grandchildren fishing, and I'd back down on a piece of lead, and they would crack and they would split. I wouldn't feel any pain with it. Then I'd go to the doctor, and they would extract like 6 several at the time, until they eventually pull them off. I ended up with this plate right here, and you know I'm trying to get used to them. I've had them over a year now. I'm yet to get used to them. I took 42 treatments of chemotherapy. I took 42 treatments of radiation. I went almost bald, and my hair was coming out in wads. I was burnt black in my chest, my side, and in my back from the radiation. And when I went through the audition with the ordeal, it's kind of hard for me to speak sometimes. When I went through the treatment with chemotherapy, sometimes inside of my mouth would get all cuts all in it, as if I had chewed up a bunch of razor blades. And they gave me medicine to numb my mouth and to numb the inside so that I couldn't experience the pain that came with it. I went through some changes, and it was as if the chemo didn't kill me, the cancer would. So they gave me 2 to 5 months at first, and then they said I would live at least another 5 years after the surgery. And now it's been 9 years I've been in remission. And they said when it come back, it'll be so aggressive that I have 6 to 8 weeks at the most. And I'm thanking God, you know, it's laying dormant in my body right now. And if I put my mind on that, I would probably go down here. But what I've done, I dedicated my life to serving God and helping people become entrepreneurs, and to my art. I took an online class dealing with computer animation, and right now it's about to get the best of me. I can't seem to keep up with my class because it's so complicated. I was doing real good, but now I'm going into texturing and shading and this kind of thing. So it's not like being on campus because the classes are so rapid, but I love it. And I want to become an animator. I want to become an animator. So when you want to become something, you can do that as long as you got the desire in your heart and you got the courage to want to step out. This man with no plan on this painting here is called The Man with No Plan. I didn't have my life was shut off, cut down, taken completely robbed away from me. And just like you see me sitting there, that's just how I was feeling in real life. Disgusted. Didn't have no plans of all my future life was gone. Didn't have nothing to really look forward to. My teeth was coming out by the root. My hair was coming all off. I cut it to keep from it all coming out. So I actually was bald. And it made me realize a lot of things. And by going through what I went through with it, it really made me understand life. A butterfly used to just be a typical old butterfly. But now that's a magnificent creature. This man with no plan is like the lives of so many that lives below poverty. And don't have no plan, no future because your life has been altered by an oppressor. Now, mine was altered by a disease, and the disease is called esophageal cancer. And this painting here have a connection with the one that's on my left, with Dr. Martin Luther King. And it have a connection with the two. Martin had a plan, but the people that was following him was like the man with no plan. He had a plan to set his people free from the economic oppression by getting the right to just cast a ballot and to vote. And, you know, his dream was a wonderful dream that he had. But somewhere down through time, it looked like we began to lose. And we become like the man with no plan. The cancer of racism eats us alive. And sometimes it seems that we don't have no way out. We can't seem to get our share of the economic pie. Everyone wants us to be up to a certain level and a certain grade, but you started out with zero, just like the man with no plan. You don't have no financial institutions. You don't have no help. But you would expect to live up to a certain standard and a certain style, to live a certain way. And the expectations that you face is unbearable because you don't have anything. You don't have no banks right here in this city of Valdosta. We don't have any banks that we can rely upon. The analysis of impediments says that there's evidence of redlining in these particular banks, these programs that they have here in the city. When you don't have any money circulating in your community, you don't have no power. When you don't have any power, there's nothing that you can move because you don't have the financial strength and capabilities to do certain things. Yes, you become helpless like a man with no plan. And you become frustrated, agitated, aggravated. Things that you normally could do, you can't do them anymore. When you arrive to your understanding of heights, you find out it's a downfall. A struggling business trying to strive and don't have the capital, can't expand to the degree to explore their capabilities as one that have backing from the banks. We are hoping that we be able to bring some changes about to fulfill the dreams that King had. He had Ralph Abernathy behind him, Jesse Jackson was beside him, and then his musician. Jackson, he went out and formed the Rainbow Coalition, and he went his separate way. But the dream, what happened to the dream? It seemed like somehow our dream just vanished, and we was left like the man with no plan, to sit there and wonder, where can I go from here? Is there up for me, or is there only down for me? I didn't have no idea what to expect, what to face. I do know that it seemed that I was on a hopeless road, but there was something from within that kept me alive, and the grace of the good Lord. That's all that we have. We don't have anything else. Now, if we had financial stability from our banking system, we could be revived. If we had institutional strength, we don't have that. Everyone wants us to be up to a certain grade, live a certain way, live by the principles that's set, already predestined for you doomed to live within a system that's systematically discriminatory. Now, what do I mean by that? A system that was designed way before you became free from slavery. That's still in place today. They got rules and laws, and we see them rising today. We see a person died today or yesterday. And that's in Virginia, I believe it is, isn't it?
Charlotte, Virginia.
Charlotte, Virginia.
And Virginia.
And we see the rise, people rising of white supremacy. Now, where did we go from here? We got the man on the verge of war, but he won't call down what he really sees as far as the terrorist act. Where did we go from here? We are just like this man with no plan. Done been broken, done been robbed of all of the glory. There was no joy when I was right here. None whatsoever. Only agony and felt like I was facing defeat. But something within me kept driving me, kept me thriving, so that I could believe that I had a better tomorrow. And I'm still alive. There's a many hope that I had died at that time, but I'm still here, talking the same old talk that we don't have nothing on the south side of Valdosta. You know, I hear them talk about it's not about black and white. I hear a lot being said that we evade the issues, and that some of us is classified as racist. No, not a racist. Neither is Floyd Rose a racist. He need not be labeled as a racist because he's not. But the true fact of the matter is, when it really boils down to the ethics of the law, you will find that it's about black and white. If it's no more than a piece of white paper and black ink that translate the laws that causes the discrimination to come up on man, okay? That means that it's about black and white. Now, You don't take a blue pen and write on blue paper. You take a black pen and you write on white paper. If you understand what I'm trying to say, it's about the laws. The discriminatory laws of a systematic discriminatory policies that was set to govern a nation by exclusion. But yet now, some of us are falling out with each other and saying that you want to say that it's about race. And it's not about race. You want to say that it's not about color. That it's not about black and white. Well, my question is, when it boils down to the ethics of history and religion, what else is it about when it comes to the truth? Now, you got a side of town that was once a predominant black community before integration. Now that it became integrated, you didn't put anything on that side of the city, on the other side of the track, to make it attractive. You kept it looking just like it was a slum because the people didn't have no money to build it up. Then here in Valdosta, the few businesses that was thriving and thriving, you made sure they became like the man with no plan and wanted him to believe in the dream of Martin Luther King. Then you give him a monument in the neighborhood that mark the tombstone of a dead community. And then says, I want you to be proud of that. I want you to stick your chest out and hold your head up high. And I want you to quit saying it's about black and white. But yet still, you took the bridge and you killed the entire half of the city, one half of the city. Then put no financial institutions in place to aid the people that you crushed. Then have the gut and the nerve to give a monument and then say everything is all right. And then when you look at the power structure, the way it's structured, everything up top is white. Okay, but it's not about black and white. Then right below that line of power that protects the rich and the wealthy, that creates the two Valdostas, you got a governing body that governs everything below this certain line of wealth. Now when you fall down below that line of wealth, you come to city managers that manipulate those that get in position, and blacks is a majority here, and they get in a position, they get a good job, want to work for the county, and then be employed by the city. And then they live real good, got them a nice home, got nice automobiles, done got a fixation in a way of life. Now, if he don't rule according to the favor of the rich and the wealthy, they somehow remove him from his job. Then he can't make his mortgage payments. Then he can't make his automobile payments. Then he facing hardships, and then they break him down to the man with no plan. Then he falls back into the community. Now he becomes back associated with the ones that's living in poverty. And then he'll talk about the dream that this man, Martin, had. But when he's in power, and he sit there and allow himself to be manipulated, to bring down oppression upon his own communities, and not do nothing about it, by not being in opposition. What do I mean by that? In other words, when the vote come in that could bring livelihood to your community, and the majority of the power vote says, we don't want that in the community. We want you to vote no. Now when the time comes, and in favor of, you hold your hand down, that means you voted no. And then it kills the idea of institutions coming into the community. I have investors that got ball players, the NFL, the basketball players. We got those. We got others that major investors that build roads and highways. We got a development that we are trying to put up right now. We made opposition 10 years ago. 10 years ago. 10 years ago. because of the people of power didn't want to see our development come forward, they put ours, tabled it for a year instead of for a month. Made it unattractive to our investors that we were bringing in to help bring livelihood to the community. But they finally came back and they approved the zoning as a PUD, but then we couldn't get water and sewer to it. Made it still unattractive. See, there's always these obstacles within the system that causes you to feel that the man with no plan. But you yet got to have the vision and the dream of Martin Luther King. Where are we going to draw the line? Where are we going to stop? Do we continue to feel like the man with no plan? Do we continue to believe in the vision of a dream that seemed to be turning out as a false illusion? That we all come together Sunday like today and sing our hymns and sing our glorified songs and preach our sermons and for the redemption of mankind to do things that embitterment for society by preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. And we'll do that wholeheartedly and mean every ounce of it. We'll get in the spirit of things. And when we get into the spirit of things, we be led by the spirit. But what about the harsh reality that we must face out here from day to day? Do we sit back and be ministers and don't get involved and see our people just like the man with no plan? And teach them to have a dream, and Martin's dream, but don't do nothing to promote progression. And allow ourselves to continue to fall down deeper and deeper into a rut. No, we have to make a stand. I'm saying this because I want it to be known that I'm here to make a stand. I don't care if I got to go by myself. I'm here to make a stand. And I'm not no racist. I'm not no racist. My son, wife, mother is white. My relatives from my father's side, some of them is white. They come to my uncle's funerals and this kind of thing. They live right up there off of Rocky Ford Road.
Now you mean white or just temporary white?
No, white. The Shivers. That's my family. My biological father was a Shiver, Ralph Shivers. And I'm saying that now, this tied because we was their slaves. And they didn't go into denial. They said that we family. And it happened through the act of slavery. And there is no doubt about it. So, I'm
Doc,
not a racist, Doc.
You're not a racist. No, Doc, let me ask you another question to kind of interject here. I know some registers here in town. I've gone to visit some registers and some more black people. They got pictures of their white relatives here in Valdosta and Lowndes County. And even Brooks County for that matter. And Thomas County for that matter. We can go on. But my question is, do you think this is why we have the problem that we have in this area? Because just maybe we got the same blood and I mean, most people come here, they never seen a place like Valdosta. So you think it's a possibility that maybe that mixed blood is so bad until we can't get together and can't appreciate one another because we're really talking about our own kinfolk? I mean, what do you think it is?
No, it's that land that's grown. It's that land that's grown like in society as it's grown in the sand. See, when they had sex with my relatives, they was having fun on their behalf as for his pleasure. Mm-hmm. As a result, we ended up being like we are. But the land was still grown. We were still black. Mm-hmm. And it was like being a marked man. Mm-hmm. If you understand what I'm trying to say. So that's just the equation of it. Look, we are not accepted now. They can put the camouflage on, put the accents on, then you got some good people out there that's just regular people, that just see life like it really is as a human being from a real aspect. Then you got those that reigns in power that don't see it that way, and that's the problem. That's the problem. They believe in social division. And then they believe in that by classifying classes, and they put the black race on the lowest level of classes. And then they'll tell you it's about the adjustment of classes, but it's not about black and white, but black is the majority that suffers the most. I put my grandson in school, and we call him Pac-Man. His name is Tyrone Robinson. Mm-hmm. And he going to Georgia Southern School. I can't think of the name of it right now. It's a shame that I can't, but South Georgia College, right there at BSU, within BSU. And the reason he going there is because he didn't take Spanish. Okay? Now they didn't let him know that he needed to take Spanish until the last year. And 6 months into the year, half of the school semester was over. He don't have time to learn Spanish, so now he got to go through this college. When I got him there to the school, there was at least 80, I'm going to use the number 80 because that's what it looked like to me. I'm going to say it looked like at least 80 to 85 students, and out of those students, only 2 were white. And they had some other kind of a problem. And that was the only reason they were there. So your children is being manipulated through the education, through the school board of education. They're not getting, in other words, parents are not notified, let them know they need to take college prep classes the way they should. They'll put it out there, but you don't get the chance to know it because they make certain that you don't put no emphasis on you coming into the knowledge. But there are students that, the white students, they put emphasis on it. They make certain that they understand it. You understand? Mm-hmm. All the way to the Justice Department and everything else here is foul. It's foul. And people don't like my type of conversation, and they'll sit back and they'll cross their legs and they'll say, you know, that Robinson guy and him and Floyd Rose and maybe 1 or 2 others, they're depicting stuff to promote racism. It's not that. People got to face the real, raw truth and fact. And the fact of it is, there's nothing in our community, and it comes from a historical background that from a plantation mentality, and it's got to be broken. And it's going to be broken. Simple as that. We can't continue living like the man with no plan, though, based upon the dream of a man that they killed. That was began to talk about the balance of economics, man. It wasn't about your right to vote that got him killed. He was beginning to talk about the power of economics.
Yes, sir.
You understand? You owning your part of this continental United States. You being able to have a banking institution that you could go sit down and have a discussion. When you walk into church, when I walk into the church house, my conversation is how the Lord been treating me. Sometimes their conversation most likely is how it's business. See the difference even in the religious aspect of it? When they get downtown, they walk in how it's business going. We talking about just how it's life in general. Very seldom you hear those words come up in our church, how it's business going. That's a shame before God. We can't say that, man. We want to just be able to say them little magic words, how is business to my fellow man. And I want to hear him say things are going great. My business is thriving good. So
and I'm going to donate something to your movement.
Yes, man. But we can't hear that because we don't have that. And anyone that's based upon this illusion that this is not how it is, this is just how it is. And now, don't get me wrong. The poor white suffer right along with the black because he's not in the clique. You see? But the blacks suffer the most because they're the majority here, and that sheds the light on them. So now they say, now what is he saying now? I'm speaking the truth. When you speak truth to a matter, and you want to get to the basis of how to fix it, you got to go to the real core of the problem, not with animosity, not with hatred, but you got to face the fact. if this happened and it results from things that occurred years ago, why don't we come up with a solution and a remedy to try to fix it now by letting each other share into the wealth of the community, that we can have prosperous businesses. Not lead us to believe a thing and then they come up with a system that says, well, you don't have enough points, you don't have enough, take this new school that they just built. They didn't give us a chance. Told us lies, but they didn't give us a chance. None whatsoever.
A lot of rumors in the community, Doc, was that we didn't have nobody that was qualified and that you didn't fill out the paperwork. Somebody told me this last week.
Yeah, but we had Benjamin below.
Yeah.
Okay? So that shoots all that down.
Mm-hmm.
We had Benjamin below, and he had, that man came to the table with approximately $900 million abundance. And he formed an umbrella that these guys could come underneath, because what they didn't have, he had it, that they could have worked through. Mm-hmm. And it was a solution for those who had been deprived, for those who did not have, but they didn't want to hear that, dog.
Moreover, my brother, if the news media does not report, and I know it didn't, if they don't report what takes place at these public meetings, like some black men and women stood up at Board of Education meetings, they stood up vigorously about fairness and getting some of those dollars to cut the crime in the black community. The newspaper and television and radio and internet sites did not see that as newsworthy. Therefore, it left the people here in Valdosta in a state of ignorance. So I can see them why they come tell me what they are saying, but it's not the truth in terms of what actually took place.
You see, Doc, they can't control you. See, when you go to the city, you will find you got their own little news outlet that's tied to the Valdosta Daily Times, and everybody's got their little clique together, and that's what they want to be heard. They allow it to be heard. That's what they don't want to be heard. They make sure it don't be heard. Mm-hmm. Okay, you is their worst nightmare. Mm-hmm. Okay, because you putting out there like you putting this out there today. You put the truth out. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I want people to understand that it's not about hatred. It's about facts.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and it's about truth. Mm-hmm. Now, we got men out there that's brick masons, that the school that they say they're unqualified to build, while they're telling us that from within the school, within those walls that they're sitting in, the same men that they're saying not qualified is the ones who laid those blocks and those bricks. You understand? Mm-hmm. The cement finishers are the ones that built those schools that they're sitting in now. You see? So when they come up and say that these guys weren't qualified and they didn't have what they needed, sure, some of them didn't have what they needed, but they didn't give them a chance to even prove whether they qualified or not by excluding them, Doc. Mm-hmm. And just the sad part.
And this also reaches over into Brooks County and Quitman, because you do have a black business owner over there with an asphalt plant. We won't call his name, but he ran into some impediments, and he can't talk about it because he wants to continue to get the little business that he gets. But we are aware of that too. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, time gonna tell. Mm-hmm. Time gonna tell. And the fact of the matter is that, look, the only way to get it right is to do right. Mm-hmm. And to do right is to get it right. Mm-hmm. And they're gonna have to do right, Doc. Mm-hmm. And they're gonna have to get it right. We're not gonna stand by and stand out like we've been real quiet. Okay? Some of the worst storms that ever brewed came from the quietness of the storm, Doc.
Yes, sir.
You know. And the thing of it is that we are not going to stand idly by and just let it go down just like that. And like we talk about here now, the man with no plan. See, I know what this cancer did to my body. Mm-hmm. And I know what the cancer racism did. Mm-hmm. I was the lead plaintiff in a civil litigation that lasted 12 years, lost everything that I had. But yet, I went through some of everything conceivable you could think. Mm-hmm. Almost to the edge of a nervous breakdown. But yet and still, Doc, it's not like the cancer racism, my friend. This here, it's terrible to me. And it forever bears my man. But racism left a scar beneath the scar. It's worse than this right here, though. Because you can't educate your children. You can't get them off to college because some other individuals undecided that you don't deserve to be a part of a system that's prosperous to him and to you.
Now, let me go back into this little man because I know I've recorded him before. This little fella you call man with no plan. Number one, why it seemed as if though he's looking so deep into the floor, it looked, I know you explained it, but I want you to do it again. Why is it that he just got frustrated? He threw his paintbrush down, looked like, and he just seemed totally frustrated. You say you was in that predicament, but do you think that the people in Valdosta been beat down so much until they really, if they saw this picture that they really could identify with the man with no plan?
Man. Oh, how could they identify with it, dog? See, when you build your business, you building it with ambition and hope, okay? And you feel real enthusiastic about it when you are building your business and you're coming out the ground good. Then when you get ready to expand from your backyard to getting you a shop downtown, then when you find out that they believe that you got some potential, that they cut you off, okay? That they don't allow you to get involved into the mainstream or the jugular vein of the money flow, okay? As long as you stand on the outside and pick up the remnants, okay, like the beggar that pick up the remnants that fell from the rich man's table, as long as you can do it that way, it's fine and dandy. But oh no, but you cannot get involved and tap into the jugular vein where all the money flows. And then if you so happen to get tied in, they're afraid that you're going to tie somebody else in that look like you. You see? So, yeah, they can relate to this, I believe.
Okay.
Man. I really do.
Well, Doc, we've been at this for quite a while, and I'm going to let you close this out. We do have some live watches. I'm doing it live and also recording it on my camera so we can put it on YouTube so people can watch it forever.
Right.
But let me close out by asking you this question. Will you please bring this into a close? Because you and I have been fighting for economics and things that people in this community don't even know. We've been to Rosewood, Florida down there.
Right.
You worked with the famous Dr. Marvin Dunn. Right. We did. They got you working with them now. They even down at Rosewood. You transported a bridge from here that you made in this backyard, right. And it named it after you down in the historic Rosewood where they made the movie about. But because we don't have a news media who will report what you and myself and your grandchildren have done with the famous author and psychologist Marvin Dunn, they don't know nothing about the work that local citizens from Valdosta are doing, because it seems as if though they want to keep the people here deaf, dumb, and blind to the times. Yep. What say you, my brother?
Well, you are absolutely right. You know, I have a friend, his name is Moses Baker.
Yes, sir.
And he was my attorney at the time. Now he's a federal judge in the 5th District in Palm Beach County. And I go down and see him, and when I went into the courtroom, they shut the whole courtroom down. Just because we was friends.
Yes, sir.
That was something that was unusually done because he honored the friendship. And when people like this hear about what we go through, don't think now time that no one is really watching Valdosta.
Yes, sir.
And things need to change for the betterment for everybody here. The poor blacks, the poor whites, and everybody here along the same lines. But we need not try to get away from the issue that it is about black and white. It is about that piece of white people and that black people.
One other thing, Doc, I'm sorry. Me and you knew this to do this more often, but why do you think that the black people here will not really, I ain't gonna say boycott, but why do we don't patronize black businesses like we should? I mean, if we would just start taking our grocery dollars and coming together, creating a grocery store where we can get some of those dollars to take care of our children, so our children won't have to sell drugs. And these young girls I see walking up the street selling things that God gave them at birth don't make sense to me. But I feel hurt as a black man when I see my sisters having to do that, because I fail to create jobs for my people like whites and Germans and everybody else have done for their people.
Fear.
Fear?
Fear and oppression. And those two, it got a real in-depth relationship. And when you being suppressed by your ultimate power, in other words, I had a nephew went to the driver's license place, and he lied about him not having a license, and they took him to jail. He did almost a year.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and in other words, if you black, you better not tell no lie. Okay, period. And I'm just trying to cut to the core of it.
Yes, sir.
And the deal is this.
Doc, we're gonna have to cut it off here. My live up feed is coming to a close.
Okay.
I'm closing out up here, so let's close out. Close out. Last closing words.
I'll
Go ahead.
close out with this right here.
Okay.
That please don't get no misconception about me, Pastor Rose, or nothing that we are doing. And don't believe that it's about racism and that Pastor Rose is a racist. He's not. I'm not a racist. But you want to be on the main facts that.
But you didn't say nothing about me. They call me a racist too.
Well, yeah, they do.
They call me a radical. They call me a outside agitator. They call me the N-word. They call me everything but a child of God. And I try to visit and talk to God every now and then in the secret closet. And sometimes I have to go to the bathroom and get in the commode and close the top. But I do that too.
I hear you.
But they won't call me that.
I hear you.
Go ahead, my brother. Close out. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to. And don't get the wrong conception about anything here. Because this thing is about realism. And if we don't face it on a realistic basis, based upon what happened, what got us here, we won't be able to make the changes the way they need to be made. We all are willing to sit down to the bargaining table and come up with a solution, but you got to at least sit down to the table. They said there's not no way to sit.
Tonight will be a good night for people to come out to the People's Tribunal meeting with Reverend Floyd Rose. They meet every Sunday night. I'll be there tonight in a few minutes at 7 o'clock. We'll be there. And we want to invite people there. A lot of things going on with the Rainwater Conference Centers and fairness along the lines of employing blacks in the management. But you all won't know nothing about that because, well, I'm sorry. I'm going to close out.
Well, let's put that straight here.
Okay.
You're welcome to come. And it's not who we claim to be. It's who we prove ourselves to be over a given period of time. And time will tell you what I am. And all we got to do is wait on time.
This is the Get To Free Press. I'm George Boss Rhymes. To all the people that have joined me live.